just recommended that we do a polar plunge. We're not going to be doing a polar plunge. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. Are we afternoon or morning? Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon. We're here to announce the state of Connecticut has commenced an enforcement action against United Illuminating for failing to remediate English Station, which is right behind us, which it is required by law to do. Just to give you some perspective, I mean, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Just look at this place, and it closed when I was in college. Okay, so it's been 30 years since English Station closed, and we've been waiting 30 years for United Illuminating, but for the owners and proprietors of English Station to remediate this site. This site is full of environmental contamination, PCBs that have been outlawed. I don't have to tell you how dangerous this structure is. And you see the windows, and the structure itself is not in good repair. It's dangerous. There's vandalism. There are people on the site, in the building, in unsafe conditions. And United Illuminating and its parent company, Avangrid, have a present legal obligation to do everything they can to remediate the site, to make it safe, and to take care of not just this location, but New Haven, the surrounding area, the neighbors, and what is known as an environmental justice site. So just to give you the particulars, in 2016, when Avangrid acquired United Illuminating, we at the state level had a lot of questions about that merger. And as a condition of that merger, they agreed to take care of English Station. They agreed to remediate this site and to take all steps necessary, basically to do whatever it takes to make this place safe. And they haven't done that. They haven't done that. They've been dragging their feet, and they've said that, well, you know, they're capped at a certain amount. They're not capped. They have an obligation to do everything necessary to remediate this location, and they just have failed to do that. Just so we're clear, there's a consent order that requires United Illuminating to take all steps necessary, and if the cost of that compliance exceed $30 million, okay, we can have a conversation about it, but it doesn't cap their obligation to do everything required to make this site safe for everybody. Let me tell you what they haven't done, because you'll probably hear that according to UI, they've taken steps to remediate this site, and what they haven't done is they have an approved plan to remediate PCBs on one parcel here. They haven't done that. They have an approved plan to remediate non-PCBs on 2 parcels. Still no work there. Still contaminated. There's no approved plan for the main power plant building that we're looking at right here. The only thing they've done is to remove the Station B building on Parcel A because it was about to collapse. Instead, they've cycled through 6 project managers who utterly lack the authority to do anything here and get anything done. And as I said before, the site is not adequately secure. It's been repeatedly vandalized. Conditions are getting worse and not better. And frankly, speaking for the commissioner, who we're going to hear from in a second, Commissioner of the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, Katie Dykes, we are at wit's end with UI, right? We've been at the table over and over and over again, giving them every opportunity to do the right thing, and they have utterly failed to do that. And that's why we have no choice but to bring an enforcement action and to make them do what they're supposed to do under the law. So with that, let me turn it over to the Commissioner without having my papers blow all over the place. The Commissioner of the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, Katie Dykes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Attorney General. I'm glad to be here together with you, and I really appreciate the strong partnership that we have with the Attorney General and his office, as well as with the City of New Haven. And so pleased to have Senator Looney here with us as well. It's unfortunate that we're at this place, and we should not have had to get to this point. When United Illuminating was acquired by Iberdrola, now Avangrid, in 2015, there were a lot of questions about how that new owner of the utility would maintain its commitment and its responsiveness to the local priorities that are so important to us here in the state of Connecticut. And the terms of that agreement included a commitment from Avangrid to finally move forward on addressing the environmental harms that are the company's responsibility associated with this power plant, which was for a very, very long time operated by United Illuminating. The partial consent order that the Attorney General mentioned was negotiated in 2016, and it required cleanup to be completed in 3 years. So you do the math, it's now 2024, and the cleanup is still not complete. So we've had a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, but regretfully, those discussions have not brought us any closer to UI accepting their responsibility under this consent order and moving forward with identifying the remedial alternative and moving forward with the remedial action plan necessary to get the site cleaned up and returned to productive use for this community. And so, unfortunately, we are now taking these steps, these legal steps, to seek enforcement of those obligations. UI is obligated to complete this cleanup no matter the cost. And they must spend $30 million before seeking any recovery of these costs. And since 2016, UI has spent less than $20 million on its cleanup of English Station. Meanwhile, DEEP has spent thousands of hours of staff time urging UI to fulfill its cleanup obligations. And the legal action that's announced today and the declaratory ruling proceeding that I initiated in my department on January 25th represent the department's continued commitment to using all of our authorities to ensure that UI satisfies its obligations to clean up English Station. We are appreciative of all the support collectively. We hope that these actions will accelerate resolution and finally the cleanup of the site for the benefit of the environment and for the community here in New Haven.
Thank you.
Sorry.
My partner, since I became Attorney General on trying to get this moving, is the Mayor, Justin Elliott.
Thanks. Thank you, Attorney General Tong and Commissioner Dykes. Very much appreciate your support in trying to move this site forward. As you can hear from them, there is unbelievable frustration with UI about their unwillingness to move on this site. I have engaged many times with their leadership, as has our team, over probably about 3 years now. And we, frankly, were optimistic that our conversations with them were going in the right direction. But unfortunately, they have made it clear that they are not good partners and not interested in finding a solution to cleaning up this site and following through on their commitment and legal obligation to clean up the site. Just imagine what this site could be for the community, for the city of New Haven and the Fairhaven community, and look at what it is right now. It's offensive that there hasn't been movement on this site, and it is a slap in the face to residents of the city of New Haven that UI is not moving forward in cleaning up what is a dangerous and polluted site. So I'm grateful that the Attorney General and Commissioner Dykes have really been pushing hard and using the levers that they have to ensure UI follows the law, and hopeful that unfortunately this action that we have to take will be heard by UI and they'll actually start to move. I'm going to hand it over to Senator Looney now. Who's the part of the
Thank you very much, Mayor, and I want to thank Attorney General Tong and Commissioner Dykes so much for putting the pedal to the metal on this issue and pushing and recognizing the frustration that the community feels and that the Mayor has expressed also in the utter bad faith and foot dragging that we've seen from UI and Avangrid over the years. I recall 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago, being with then Attorney General Jepsen on this site when the consent decree was announced. And as the Attorney General said, so little has been done in furtherance of it since then. And that is just an example, I think, of of cynicism and bad faith. No wonder people begin to lose confidence in major corporations and utilities and other powerful entities in society like that when so little has been done. The city of New Haven, just like Hartford and Bridgeport, have very few large sites available for development. They're relatively small, densely packed cities, and a site of this size has enormous potential if it were properly cleaned up, properly then prepared for an alternate use that would be productive in this city. And that's what we were hoping for over 8 years ago. That's what we're hoping for today. And I want to thank the Attorney General and the Commissioner for pushing on this now, because it really is an outrage that things stand here now almost exactly as they did 8 years ago, with the exception of one building that was taken down under the duress of a safety issue. But again, thank you all very much.
Thank you. I also want to recognize Laura DeBella, who's in our environment section, and the whole